G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. As you know, picked up the EV6 rear drive GT line today, and we're going to spend the next couple of days exploring everything in and out about the car, and I'll give you my final verdict at the end of the video. And yeah, so we're going to essentially cover off in this part of the video just the startup, and we'll go through some of the features and whatnot of the vehicle. So as you know, with this car in particular, the car is actually off at the moment, isn't always on. So you do have this EV button that you got to press to power up. You can't just turn on the aircon as an example, because nothing really happens. So when you get in your car, based on the settings, once I've closed the door, it does actually push me forward in the seat. So this seat goes back as you exit. So if you look at me here, if I open the door, you'll see, or you'll hear, the seat goes back. It'll show you here that the door is open, and then if I shut it, we're moving forward again. So this car at the moment has 15,702 kilometers. Let's hit the power on button and see what happens. So you can see screen settings currently go there. Currently says accessory only. And let's see if I put my foot on the brake and then I push power, just to double check if anything happens there. There you go. So then that essentially starts a car, and you can hopefully see that I've captured slightly on the heads up display. It says, where'd it go? There you go. It's got the 0 kilometer somewhere there with the 50. I'm not too sure if you could see that. I'll have to check in the videos. But I'll record the heads-up display in another separate section of the video. Now, having the car on itself essentially means we can put it into reverse, neutral, or drive, and we can drive off. And then let's go through all the settings. I might just turn the fan down, because I don't know how much that will actually impact the audio. So we'll turn it down to level 2 for the time being. And so let's talk through these settings. I want to cover off in this section maybe some of the functions there, and then some of the functions here. So you can see straight up here that at the moment that's your speedo. You've got down here that it's ready to go. I noticed yesterday driving that by default for this car, and yet to understand the settings, it's got a couple of levels of regen settings. And on the steering wheel over here, you've got the plus regen here, and then you've got the minus regen here. It's a bit odd coming from European cars, because normally where you have your sports cars, or actually a lot of other cars, the right side is usually gear up and the left side is geared down. And so I would have naturally thought that if you're going to increase the regen, you'd naturally have it on the right side. But either way, that seems to be what it is. Now, so what that means is, you can see at the moment, or hopefully you can see right there, level 3 regen. So if I go pull it back by 1, we might have to be in drive to do that. So we'll check that out later. Either way, those are the couple of levels of regen. It's got currently 89%, no seatbelts on, obviously, the speedo, the gear that you're in, the last speed limit it's seen. This looks like we're currently on driver information, which is we haven't driven anywhere yet, but that's the kilometers you've driven for the drive. Kilowatt hour to 100 k's as a conversion, how many minutes you're on. That looks like the temperature today, 22 degrees here in Sydney. And over here is the I guess the instant consumption that you've got there. Now, based on 89%, it looks like we can do another 439 kilometers based on the current power. And then that's the speedo there, and that is the handbrake. Now, for the ones that did pick it up, there is no handbrake section over here. Handbrake is actually over here. That one there. So let's check out some functions of the steering wheel and what we can kind of scroll through over here. So at the moment, you've got this on the right side, based on driving yesterday and fiddling around. Looks like you've got all the audio side of things. This side over here looks like you've got more of the menu and the cruise control type settings. And then you've got a favorite, and then you've got different drive modes. And then obviously the horn, which we can test in a moment. So First things first, mode. So on the right side, I presume this might scroll through the radio and stuff. So I'll zoom out and let's push the button and see. Yep, so you can see down there, DAB radio, SBS radio 2. That switches to something else that says no media source available. I'll push it again, it says no media source available. Push it again. It just says no media source available. So I presume that swaps between the different media settings. This one here, I believe, would go to Siri or Google Assistant if you've got that set up. If you don't, let's push that and see what happens. Probably there's a Kia one. Nope, so there you go. We'll move the glare a bit. So he says here, this feature is available when a phone supporting Android Auto or Apple CarPlay is connected via USB. So definitely when you hook up your phone, smartphone, that's the button there. This one here is obviously for audio, so skipping songs, music up, down, and then you can click this one into, of course, mute, which you can see over here, DAB FN, if and between mute. And then this one here obviously changes tracks, and you can also change the radio stations as you go. So if I flick on here, I'll zoom out. Oh, that's a bit loud. Better turn that down. Okay, so if you can see on here, I'll flick down. So you can see over there, DAB FM Triple M, we can go SBS radio and so forth. They all change, and it also gives you a little notification down here as well as you kind of scroll through. And this looks like potentially through just your favorites because they're scrolling through the same thing. So I'll mute that there just so it doesn't play anything. Okay, and this star button here, I presume you could put to a favorite, and that's your phone calls to pick up, hang up as you go. So let's look at the left side of the steering wheel. So that, I believe, starts your cruise control. Based on whatever speed you are, it locks it to that, so we can give that a go in the next couple of days. This one here, I believe, should switch through the menu, and this should allow you to probably scroll through some of the menus. So let's stay on this one first. So this one here is currently on drive information. So if I zoom or pan out and we go this one here, you can see, so you've got this after recharging, then accumulated info, drive information, and after recharging. So that looks like the three menus you've got here. So after recharge, accumulated info that you can change, current drive information. So that covers that one. I presume this one is to do with the cruise control, but let's just double check it doesn't do anything now. That's right, so that doesn't do anything now. So it's really just these two that have to do with that menu there. So we've changed that. Let's flick onto the next one there, which moves on to the next one there, which is a compass. So I presume if you use the navigation maps on the car, that it does turn that here, but I'll probably try that another time. And again, if I flip through that, it doesn't do anything, but it's just a compass. Flip through the next one, it's got tire pressure, drive to display. So I guess you probably need to drive a bit more just so that it really regulates the pressure inside of the tires, so that it can tell you what PSI or kph it is. So I presume that on each one there, it just shows you what it is. And scrolling up and down does nothing. So then let's go to the next one, which is current car settings. Says hold OK for settings, so let's hold that down and see what this one is. Okay, so holding that down, so this is to do with driver assistant. As I held that down, this screen popped up. So you can see this covers the menu around forward safety, driver attention warning, parking safety, blind spot safety, speed limit, lane safety. And so it's got the picture of the car here. Now I do wonder, how intuitive have they built it? If I step on the brakes, does the brake pedal at the back, the brake lights light up? Let's see. So I'm stepping on it now, and no, it doesn't. So let's scroll through, see what else there is. So here's the driver attention, and it says last brake 8 minutes ago. And so saying that it has driver attention, I presume potentially there's a camera there, or it would somehow have to know how we work out the attention. We'd have to maybe look at the menu, but look, if you guys know how that all works, then feel free to drop a comment below. And it comes just back to here. So this looks like it might be something that when you're on cruise control, you can see the settings and see how far the car is. So that essentially covers everything to do with here. We've also got drive mode. Let's test that. So if I click that down, so you've got, so start with eco or eco, economy mode. That's how that looks like. We might flip back to the car settings or information. Yeah, let's just leave it like this. Okay, so that's what you see. It's essentially got, I guess, that digital type display over there. That's on eco. Let's flick it to the next one, which is normal. And I just noticed it says hold drive mode snow. So let's hold that down. So now it's snow mode. Now I don't know specifically what it does, but I'm sure it adjusts some of the car functions there. But switching to normal, that's what it looks like. And then if we switch to sport, it turns, I guess, pinky red. I guess more trying to reflect or give you that impression that it's angrier, there's more power and so forth. And what I've noticed is actually, if I pan around the car down here, you can see that the interior lighting, at least at night, has changed to that color too. So if I hold like this and let's go switch to eco, you can see it's all blue, nice, calm colors. If we go to normal, it goes into a dark blue, and then I'm going to flick the switch to sport, and you can see that it goes to that pinky reddish color, more to the pink hue. So don't know if you can change that, but that's currently the sport mode, and that kind of covers everything over here. Other things that I guess we've got behind that doesn't exist in all cars, especially the upcoming Tesla Model 3. You've got some of these functions here. So you've got auto off, you've got mist by pulling it all the way up. Other controls for the windscreen wiper here. I don't know if there is a rear windscreen wiper at all, so we'd have to look at the back later. But this is essentially to control those various speeds, and when you do adjust it here, you can also see that it shows up here as well, and it does wipe it as you go. And so over here you've got the indicators, you've got the soft touch and the heavier hold down. So essentially if you just hold it down lightly or pull it up lightly, it just does indicator for I think 3 times by default. And if you hold it there or you pull it up or pull it down permanently, then it just keeps indicating until you turn it off. That's lighting and high beam, so quite obvious ones. Currently lights are on auto. So that essentially covers everything to do with this whole front steering wheel function. Alright, so hopefully you guys can see this. What I essentially want to take you all through now is the rest of the functions that's all around here and all around here. So let's go home. So home, you can see you've got EV functions, climate, the usual map, media, navigation stuff. You've got the phone projection or phone connection, information, voice memo, settings. And then you've got a manual here, which is also really great. So manual, you scan your QR code, then it essentially shows you. So I'm going to do that now on my phone and we'll see where it takes you to. So there, it takes you to kia.com. And I'll just let it load. So there it is. So there it is, and it looks really cool. So Gen 5 standard class navigation, shows video manuals, Kia Connect. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure I read online that we actually don't have that here, so it's quite unfortunate, but hopefully they do bring that soon if it can, and they can retrofit that for all the current and future owners. But yeah, so essentially you can do that. Jumping back to home, you've got 3 menus. So you've got this one here, which essentially goes what current media is on, the date, time, current battery and range, and then scroll across, you've got that usual menu there, and then you've got the manual over there. So let's start with EV. So essentially what you see on screen here, on the EV screen, on the function, is it tells you the current battery, it tells you how far your closest charger is, you've got your next departure if you've set that in the car, scheduled charging, on off, target temperature. So I guess this is to do with pre-cooling or preheating your car. With the current aircon on the top right, you can see over here I can do 422 Ks if I do turn it off for 32. For 10 kilometers to lose the comfort, no, scrap that. I would absolutely be turning it on the entire time, even if I was doing a massive road trip. Then you've got some V2L. So let's just click on next departure, see if it takes us anywhere. So there you go. You can set 2 departure times. So I guess you can do weekends and weekdays. And set the intended temperature departure time for scheduled charging. If I tick that, that's just to set the time there. So we'll go back. And you can just set this here. Again, that's to do with the target temperature. And we'll go back. And then you've got EV charge transfer V2L. So V2L automatically discharges down to the defined minimum charge level. So I guess it's good in the sense that if you're charging something overnight or you're powering something overnight, especially for people that are camping, you want to ensure that you still have the ability to drive after in the morning or however long you're going to take once you do stuff. So in this case, this is set to 20%. So essentially means that if you're using V2L and you're running an appliance or something, you know, it's going to stop at 20%. And let's just double check that there. Again, that's just to do with time. So nothing really to do with this. So jumping out of that, you've then got some settings here on the right hand side. So we'll jump into that. And this just goes into EV settings, which I'm sure we will go through somewhere else, but we can have a quick look at this. So EV settings, if it's a DC charger, it's a slide bar with percentage that you can set. So DC charging will be terminated once it reaches that. And then you've got AC charging, and again, it's the same thing. So it doesn't look like you can set anything below 50%. You've then got charging current. So a lower current leads to longer charging times, of course. So the more current you put, the more power you put through, the faster the car is going to charge. And it doesn't say how many kilowatts or amps these are talking about, but it does let you change through those settings. You've then got winter mode. So battery performance may deteriorate at low temperatures. Using this function will maintain driving and DC charging performance, but reduce driving range. Active utility mode. So what's this one? Use the high voltage power to power electronic devices connected to the vehicle. Audio lights can be used when parked for a long time or for camping. To deactivate utility mode, press start. So I guess this is either to do with V2L, or I know there's a port at the back that you can do. Let's scroll down. Smart recuperation. This is to do with the regenerative braking, like in the Tesla. So that sign might look familiar there because of what we covered off. You can see at the corner on the right of where my finger is here, that button there before, not button, sorry, the screen there where it was showing the level of regen. So again, it just got soft, medium, strong. Charging connector locking mode, so you can either always lock or lock while charging, so good to have that flexibility. Audible charging info, audible information about charging status when the vehicle starts. So we'll have to charge the car eventually, maybe, and see how that goes. Gonna leave it for high for the time being, just to see, and hopefully that doesn't give us a scare. And so that covers everything in the EV section. Okay, so map obviously just navigates you or takes you to the Kia Maps. Navigation menu allows you to start to use, I guess, navigation to where you need to go. So it looks like you can go route overview, you can plan a tour, different options. You've got traffic, categories, Kia dealerships. Save all your favorites across here, so it's really fast to use. We'll have to give that a go in the next couple of days. But at this point in time, I think I still prefer Google Maps or Waze. So yeah, that's that. Now let's jump back. So phone, I think, is self-explanatory. Phone projection or connection is only when you connect with that USB icon over here. Voice memo, I presume you could record something as you go. So it's stored over here until deleted. Climate control, let's look at that. So you've got heat, AC, sync, all of these settings over here. Outside is 22 degrees, so I presume this is to heat the left side. And the one thing actually I didn't cover off is this touch bar down here can actually change. So this is for the upper menu, which is all of here, and if you flick on that, that actually turns into the aircon. So you can notice that the cooling, that's gone blue and red to indicate the change. And if I flip it, that actually on the right side, I don't know if you can see that here in the video, file and tune, and that is volume, and there's a power button here as well. So at the moment, you can see this one's here on 21. So if I go up here, if I switch this down, you can see that changes there as well. So sync obviously syncs everything there. You could go heat, which starts to somehow heat up the car. Different settings there. Driver only, which turns off the left side of the vehicle. And then you've got internal circulation settings. So activation on washer fluid use. Activation upon entering tunnel. Auto dehumidify. Smart ventilation. Defog frost. Auto defog. So all of those are all automatic. And you can also set automatic steering wheel heating or seating heating and ventilation if you'd like. So that should cover all of the aircon functions or climate functions. But yeah, just coming back down to here, so on this setting again, you've got all of those same types of functions here. It's all on the touch panel. You can touch most of these. The temperature one does nothing, but as you scroll through, it does change the temp over here as well, depending on how cooler or hotter you'd like to make it. And also looks like they have the hidden reset button right here. There is that little dot. Oh, I just hit auto climate by accident. So yeah, you've got the reset button there. So you'll need a pen there. So if this screen freezes for whatever reason, that's the button you need there. Push that down with something, I guess, a little sharp or thin. Maybe a pen if you've got one handy. And yeah, that should hopefully reset that for you. So that covers all the climate settings. Radio media, I'm not going to go through. Quiet mode, let's have a look at that. So quiet mode, radio media is played only at the front seats. Volume will be limited to value 25. So this is perfect for the ones that have kids that are sleeping at the back or elderly that are sleeping at the back, and you wanted to continue to play music, or you want to play your podcast or anything like that. You can continue to play that without disturbing anyone in the back. Information over here, so I presume you've got some generic information. So satellite, probably your coordinates where you are, and then traffic, talking about all the, I guess, events or incidents that is happening there. So you can see out at Olympic Park, there's quite a lot of things happening. And then settings. All right, so settings. Let's go through vehicle settings. So you've got driver assistance, which is all the stuff that we kind of covered off before. Let's see what the rest of these are about. So driver assistance, so that was to do with timing. So normal or later around different warnings. Warning methods, so you've got volume warning, you've got haptic, you've got driving safety priority, parking safety priority. So this one lowers the volume when the shift lever is set to reverse. I personally actually like this, so just helps you a little bit, I guess, if you ever need to listen out for, you know, someone pushing a trolley or someone's walking with kids. It just helps a little bit better. Driver attention warning. So swaying alert, leading vehicle departure alert, forward safety. So this is active assist. So I guess this is similar to AEB, or maybe this is referring to AEB, autonomous emergency braking. You got lane safety, which is an assist. So you can go warning only, or you want to steer or totally shut it off to keep yourself within the lane. Blind spot safety, safe exit assist, active assist. So this one is blind spot in the cluster, which is that little icon over there. So I did notice last night when I was driving, you do get that little wavy icon in the heads up display that you can see there, and I'll try to record that in a separate video. You've got active assist, provision of warning and vehicle control when risk of blind spot is detection, or you can have warning only. So you know what, for argument's sake, let's turn this on. We'll turn on as many safety things as we can have, and we'll see how the car performs, and we'll see how we like it or dislike it. So blind spot, we've got that. Parking safety. Okay, so surround view monitor on, automatic. We've got automatic activation of parking distance warning at low speeds. Yep, we'll turn that on too. So what that means is it should turn on as soon as the sensors actually sense that we're too close to something. Active rear assist is the same thing, similar to the front one that we said before. And that's just a warning only, and rear cross safety alert for when someone's reversing or driving across the back. So everything there is turned on for us, so safety at a maximum. And I presume that when you click one of these, it takes you directly to that menu that we've just covered off. Drive mode, Eco Drive mode, decrease the energy consumption by reducing the heating and cooling power of the climate control system. No thank you. I want as much power as I want if I need to cool down the car. Brake mode, normal, sport. So, a standard braking response optimized for comfortable driving, a sportive braking for dynamic driving. Okay, let's go with sport to see how that looks like. So, brakes obviously go red, but again, no idea how that feels different, but I may have to jump back into this menu as we go for a drive. So, it's on sport settings at the moment. Active sound design. So there's no way of hearing what the sound is. I do know that on enhanced, and there was a comment that one of our fellow subscribers, Sensei, did post about the sound, and yes, this was because I think it was on enhanced. So we'll go normal, minimize, off. We're going to leave it off for the time being. I might do a separate video on that just to see if I can pick up the sound to show you guys or what that means. Advanced sounds. What is this? So the natural effect of an electric vehicle, custom sound, cyber. Okay, so I don't know if this is to do with external or internal sound, and I don't know if this is for only whilst you're driving, or is it reversing as well, or anything like that. So, but it says here that selected sound style modified by adjusting the master volume and accelerator pedal response. So very, very interesting. We will have to give all this active sound design a go. For now, we're going to leave that off. Okay, so heads up display. Oh, where were we? Vehicle. Okay, so heads up display. You've got augmented reality mode, which I guess shows you here like 3D. Standard, which I presume doesn't take off that lane distance thing, and then you can also turn it off or leave it on AR on. Display control, you can sync it with your seat position, so that's really good. So as you move the seat down, that lowers down as well, and then it looks like you can adjust the location of all of that here. So I'll do a separate section on the AR mode because it's a bit bright here, so very hard to see. You've got calibration as well, and then content selection. So turn info, I presume that's only if you use the Kia navigation. Drive convenience info, blind spot. I think that's this, the speed and speed limit I meant, and blind spot safety info is, I guess, self-explanatory. Then we've got cluster. So you've got brightness, cluster. Okay, cluster theme. So link to drive mode. So you can turn that off, and you can have A, B, and C, which essentially refers to the themes of the sport, normal, and eco that I showed before. Energy consumption reset. That's just I guess personal settings if you really want. What's this? Content selection. So display Wi-Fi mode screens. So you can just set different things to display as you go. Welcome sound. No idea what that is, but greeting chime is provided when cluster is turned on or off. Let's turn that on and we'll just see what it's all about. So go back, cluster, then you've got a bunch of climate settings. So we'll just quickly scroll through them. So internal air circulation, automatic ventilation, defog, climate, seat heating and cooling. So that was that. Seat change alert. I presume this seat heating is for automatic controls. Yep. Easy access extended. So that's the one where I was saying if you close the door, then or open the door, then it lets you, the seat goes back so you can get out easier. Various light settings. Ambient light. Can you change the colors? So One touch turn indicator, that was a soft touch, so you could go 3, 5 and 7. I might turn it to 5 so we can take our time as we drive. Welcome mirror light, headlight timeout, high beam assist. Yep, let's leave all of that on. Door settings, auto lock on shift, perfect. Auto vehicle unlock, when the vehicle goes off, all of it unlocks, and you've got power tailgate, speed, fast, fully open, and so forth. You've got auto settings. I won't need to do any of that now. And then convenience, rear occupant alerts, wireless charging system turned on, trailer checklist, service interval. Okay, so this doesn't need to be serviced for a while, unless that means that it's missed a service. So where else do we need to go? We've gone display, we've got button. So custom navigation button, so that's for phone projection, display on off, information none. That's the start button on the steering wheel in terms of what you need to do. So that was for navigation. This is for steering, goes to the EV screen. If you push that, you can cancel, you can do all of that stuff or none. And the mode one essentially switches to phone projection. So those are all the custom settings on the steering wheel. And then the last one, do we cover off general? No, not yet. So general, information on the car, system info, date, time, language, keyboard, units, media settings, and default. Alright, so that covers most of the settings that you have on the steering wheel and on the dash. The other couple of ones that I haven't shown yet quickly is just ventilated seats, heated seats, steering wheel heating, cooling seats, and heating seats on this side as well. I'm gonna turn on the heated seats on my side and see how hot and how quick that gets. And so 3 settings, and we've got this one here for the steering wheel, and I'm holding the steering wheel now, and so far it's just been a couple of seconds. It hasn't heated up as yet. On the heated seat side of things though, I can start to feel it getting warm already. And steering wheel so far up here is starting to get a bit warm. On the backside, lower half of my back, it's getting pretty warm really quick, and I can start to feel it beneath my legs. And that's that. And then I'm going to turn, whilst we're doing that, I'm going to turn on this fan here, and I'll see if we can actually hear it, because on some cars it's actually pretty loud. And I might turn off the aircon just so we can totally hear it. How do I even turn off this aircon? Presume that's currently on 1, and maybe I'll push that and it goes off. Yep. So I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, so hopefully you heard that. Now back onto these settings here. Now it's been probably a minute or so. It's pretty warm. It's not getting to the point where it's unbearable at this point in time, but also don't forget that today is not the hottest of days. It's 22 degrees. So is it warm down here? Yes, it is warm, just at the bottom bit here. Is it here? No, there's nothing over this bottom quarter over here. There is also a minimal amount on the back here. So actually, yeah, so I lie. On this side here down the bottom, it's only on the back so far, nothing on the front side. Same with down here, coming up. This bit is probably where the heating starts the most, so that bit is probably the warmest, which actually is in line with how you should be holding your steering wheel anyway in most cases. Up here is really hot, so actually it probably does start up here as well. And then same thing down here. So most of it goes all around, except down here it doesn't seem like it's coming around the front over here as well. It's really just behind. So I'm starting to burn, so I'm going to turn that off and that off. You guys heard that noise, hopefully that transfers through. I'm going to turn this cooling back on to cool myself down. And then I just want to show you the rest of this section here and what we've got. So I've got some bottles here. This is a normal, I think, 700 ml bottle or thereabouts. We're just going to have a look quickly at the cup holders. So they've got, how many? 2 teeth here on either side. That there is a perfect fit. So that's fantastic. The bigger bottles. So this is an Owala bottle. I think it's about the similar size to those Frank Green type ones. Does that fit? No, absolutely not. So you'd probably need that adapter thing or the Bunnings hack to get that done. There's a little pocket here, and that's the glove box. So we'll open that. And that, I don't know if you can see that from that distance, but let me shine a torch, is pretty deep. Pretty deep. And there are no ports or anything in there, because I'll shine down here. You've got your phone connection there for CarPlay or Android Auto. You've got a USB-C charge port there, so left USB-C, USB-A on the right. You've got 12-volt sockets down here. Let me double check that. That's another USB-C, and a big pocket down here that you can see, full-size tissue box. So does that tissue box also fit back here? So like that? No. In? Yep. So full-size tissue box. So that gives you, I guess, a good comparison or a good understanding of how deep that entire pocket is. So we'll put that back there. And we're going to jump to the other side, and I'll show you guys the glove box. And the other thing I forgot to show was over here. So you've got the camera, you've got auto hold and parking sensors, and the wireless phone charger here. If you put that here, there's essentially a light over here that turns orange when the car is on to indicate it's charging, but we'll have to test it because I don't know how well it works. This is an iPhone 14 Pro Max. It pretty much takes up the entire spot there. So jumping through to the passenger side, you can see lots of space over there. That's that big storage space underneath. And over here is the glove box. So little latch or button you push here. And there you go. So it's really wide spot. And then you've got, I guess, the manual. And in terms of how big, let's use the tissue box as a guide. There you go, full-size tissue box. Fits directly in there, and even more space. So the fold for the glove box is about there. So you could definitely fit a whole one. So let's talk about the seats. So you can see over here, this bit here is of course adjustable. From the side you can see that height adjustable over here, and you can also pull these a bit more forward. So as I pull here, that's one setting. 2 settings, and it'll pull hard and let go. It resets over there. So depending on how far you want that out, you can get that adjusted there too. You've then got your settings here, which is to do with lumbar, then back and forth. Then you've got this one, forward, backwards. You can hold that down, which lowers the whole thing as well. And you can raise that up, so that raises the whole thing. Alright, now before I show you guys seating space in the back, I want to show you guys seating space at the front as a passenger. So this is me as a passenger, fairly comfortable. That's about all the space I have. Don't judge my Crocs, buy them and then judge them, because you'll probably love them. And no, this was not sponsored by Crocs at all. So yeah, like I said, I'm about 170. This is pretty comfortable, and let's jump over to the back. I just showed you how the seating was in the front. So this is essentially in the rear. It's pretty comfortable. Yeah, I've got lots of legroom here. It's definitely more than economy flight, whether it's Jetstar or Qantas or anyone else. Like, you can actually move it so you're not squashed underneath the person in front. This is the view that I've essentially got, how much space. And I'll turn on the lights at the rear so you can see, but I've got the camera here as well, so no transmission floor tunnel And then you've got these elastic seats things here, which again feels very airline like. There is no air vent or light or anything down here, USB-C charging ports, but you do have the air vents right here on the side. So initially, at first face value look, I thought there was no vents here, and to pay like $84,000, that's a lot of money, right? So they are on the side over here. So I'll flip it to get around over here. So again, here you go. And it's essentially turn on, turn off, and then left, right, up, down. You've got the same over there, and then you've just got the window button here, some storage over here, Meridian sound system, and yeah, I'm going to move over to the right side. So realistically, if you've got kids, yes, it is going to be really easy for them to move across. And let's pull this down. It's got a thump. And again, yeah, 2 cup holders here. And for a big guy like me, look, I'm fairly comfortable. So no complaints from my side in a car of this size. And in terms of headspace, I'll flip this camera around over here. So can you see me here at this distance? That's probably the best in terms of lighting we've got. So I'd say there is about that much distance. So probably 4 or 5 centimeters worth of gap above my head, and I am about 171 centimeters tall. So there you have it. That is all the seats. What I haven't checked out quickly is how are these headrests here. So these are just height adjustable, not forward and backwards, and you do have, looks like, ISOFIX points over here. So let's check out and chuck some kid seats in here and see how we go. Okay, so we're going to throw in some baby seats and we'll see how much space there is. Alright, so obviously I haven't strapped in the seats in full, but if I move this up here so you can see, based on seating at the front, you've still got a space there, you won't smack your seat. That is for your newborn, and we'll jump over to the other side to see how that goes. Okay, so hopefully you can see this okay. So this is me sitting as a passenger on the right next to newborn. You can definitely forget about having another child over here. You can have a baby seat here, which we'll show you shortly, or another adult, but in terms of the middle, there's no way you'll get another seat in, not at least with this newborn one that's pretty wide. You can see that this actually hits here as well, so if we move that, you can get that down so you could still have your coffee if you want, and the newborn there. But essentially with the newborn seat, it does extend a little bit past that middle one, so good luck to anyone who needs it for 3 seats. And for argument's sake, if I just do this conversion, because this is a convertible seat. Okay, so we've changed this to an upright seat. Took a bit longer than expected. So that's it there. Can you see from that angle? I think you can. I'll turn the camera a bit. So that's essentially it with the convertible seat up. Again, if I pull this down, it's just gonna rub. So if you really need to sit someone, you could probably put potentially a little booster, but again, it's still going to be pretty difficult to put that there. And if I move this to the middle, even if it was rear facing, let's see if we could actually fit anyone else in. So that's that. So this is right in the middle. If you were to have a baby seat right there. Now me getting in, I am literally hovering over the kid. So Let me close the door so I can put some more perspective to it. So this is me, fairly compromised. This pretty much runs into my belly, and I am on the side that's more uncomfortable. I'm literally leaning my arms over here, but you can have it in there, and it is definitely doable. I'm just going to run to the other side and we'll see and make sure that I can also fit on the other side, because realistically, if you have a newborn and you do need to carry 2 other people, middle is probably the better way to do it. So give me a sec and we'll check that out. And yeah, look, coming in, I hit my shoulder just on this point here. But as I said, it's doable. Is it comfortable? No, not really. But look, it is doable. You can have a newborn and you can potentially still have 2 kids or 2 adults on either side. But yeah, as I said, if you're a big guy like me or a big person in general, just know that this side bit here, on this newborn in particular, so this is a Britax Safe and Sound. It is a Platinum Pro. That will essentially rub into you. Now, so whereabouts, I'm literally sitting on this, right? So this seat is here. You'd have the ISOFIX points. Side middle doesn't have ISOFIX, so you'd need to actually tether across if you can. And yeah, so not that comfortable, but let's take a look at the back. So yeah, you'd have to do a top tether without ISOFIX at the back, and that's essentially what it will look like. So as I said, it is doable. However, you don't get to use the ISOFIX points there, and you're going to have to just use the top tether. If you are going to top tether here, it's probably going to be hard to fit 2 adults over there. But if you guys have done it and you do own an EV6, let me know in the comments below. That's just from my initial fiddling around. And yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to fit 2 booster seats, one here and one over there, and I'll show you guys again what that looks like. But from a newborn perspective, in the middle seems like it works best. From a safety perspective, I don't know. Realistically, on the side probably works best. The good side of things as well is that if you are going to put a newborn in and you've just got the one child, you can actually consider putting it on the right side. And so if you're coming in from the curb or you enter the car from this side, you can always just kind of shuffle over, because you don't have the transmission tunnel over here, and it's quite spacious, so you can put the child in there. Or if you need to feed the baby in here and whatnot, you could do that too. So it is definitely possible, and you know, some people make do with what they have. So yeah, we'll see you soon. We'll flip the seats around and we will have 2 booster seats in here shortly. Alright, so here's the 2 booster seats. What are these? These are Britax Safe and Sounds. I don't know the specific name actually. What is it? It is Kid Guard in black. So that's 2 of these. Now, the one thing that I forgot to cover off before was actually on this bit here, there is a latch down here that you can actually pull, which you can potentially recline. So if I pull this, you can push these chairs back so it reclines a bit further back, which fits the kid seats a lot better. The headrest does get in the way though, so you might potentially have to lift that out. Or lift it up so it's out of the way. Yep, there we go. So again, we'll recline this seat all the way back, put this back, and that probably fits a lot better. Now, the $1 million question of, can you fit an adult in between here with these 2? I seriously doubt it. Not at my size anyway. I'd be sitting in front. I'm definitely not that thin. However, if you had 2 and we played a bit of shuffling to move this left seat a bit further to the left, could we potentially put this one further in and still fit an adult? let's test that side and see. All right, so that's that. Oh yeah, nah, that's not gonna work. I don't know if you can see there, my neck. I'm literally like this. And can't even reach the door, but nah. Maybe a small, no, you can't even fit a small child because they have to be in one of these seats. So, not with these seats anyway, probably with a booster type with just the base, you definitely can fit 3 across easily. Or there are also narrower versions of these that you can potentially fit. But based on my current settings, it's quite difficult. So, it's a no from me in that case with these specific seats, purely because of the width of these. And again, these are adjustable, right? So realistically, you might be able to fit. But for me in particular, I feel like I got to sit like this. So am I comfortable? No. Yeah, I can't. There's no way unless I kind of do this. But then I'm really squashed. So look, at the end of the day, can I fit in? Can we close the door for a short trip if it was for 5 people with 2 kids, like set up like that? Yes, that is doable. Am I comfortable? Nah. I'm literally squashed up against it and my head's probably leaning against this back pillar over here. So is it doable? Yes. Is it comfortable? No. So there you guys have it. And I've got the camera rolling on the side too. So I'll show you guys all of that. My body is pretty much across right now from the seals, so I know that I'll hit the car. Doing this, closing the door, means I'm probably most likely leaning against the door. So there you guys have it. Let's buckle up and show you guys what the final product looks like once we've got the 2 seats set up. Okay, so this is the last step, getting this seatbelt in. And there you have it. So bring this camera around. That's it there. Quite comfortable. Looks good.